This is part 2 of my quest to get my $9,000 back. And let me tell you, I'm exhausted. The day you find out you lose $9,000, you go to sleep, you're pretty stressed, you're pretty tired. That's nothing compared to the day after you find out you lose $9,000. Because then you have to deal with the fallout. With your family and all the bullshit. In my case, new number, new bank, and then all the teams from the different departments that are at work that I have to talk to. I'm gonna get into all that. I'll start off with the first thing I did, which was call my bank and basically tell them the logic that I had figured out that I talked about last video, because I didn't get a chance to do that yesterday just because they were operating hours, and by then I was already like so worn out that I just couldn't wait another hour on the phone to call them. So I did it this morning, and I told them how my phone number has been stolen, and that these bank transactions were authorized because somebody had access to my number. And they were basically like, that makes sense, but this is a first. We've never had this before. Which, I mean, maybe it's just her. Maybe she's never heard of it before. Nice lady, don't get me wrong. But she was very confused and found it kind of hard to understand. And I basically just filled out I just put some additional information forward so that could be sent to the fraud department of the bank, and they're presumably doing their thing. I then, at some point, went out to the city to get a new bank account and a new mobile number, because both are compromised. And I got a call from Skinny. More specifically, I got a call from who I believe to be if I recall correctly, the head of the fraud department of Skinny. And basically she was telling me the situation. And I have learned some complete, just absurd shit from her. First of all, this person only needed my login information to impersonate me. All she needed, and they know it's a she, and I'll get to that in a bit, they know that she impersonated me via logging into my phone account with the email attached to my phone account and my password attached to my phone account, and was able to get all the details she needed to impersonate me from my dashboard, which she had access to. She did not need my driver's license to impersonate me. She did not need my passport to impersonate me. She needed my phone password and my phone email. So that's problem 1. Problem 2, she calls herself Kenny, which is apparently the name under my Skinny account. On my end, it says Kent, my real name. But on their end, it says Kenny. What woman is called Kenny? What woman is called Kenny with a Y? And then the third thing was that they know that this woman has called them in the past. Not once, not twice, but 3 times to do this exact thing. Only this time she was actually able to verify herself as me. What? So no action was taken against this lady in the past who's tried to do this and failed. And now she succeeded. She impersonated a guy with nothing except my login information. So that's the blood and guts, I guess, of this problem, is Skinny's negligence. But then that got escalated again to Skinny's parent company, Spark, which I talked about yesterday. And a member from Spark's fraud team contacted me. And then we had a bit of a discussion, and they sent this data to the police with the case number that I had opened up earlier. Yesterday, I went to the police and I opened up a case. Well, I called the police and I opened up a case specifically. I have a new bank account with a different bank. I have a new phone number with a different SIM. And that's a pain in the ass. Anything that requires two-factor authentication with my old number, I'm blocked out of. Can't do anything with that. I'm considering going to the news. I have told Skinny this, my mobile provider, that I wonder what the news would think about all this. And they're kind of standing strong. They're just like, yes, well, blah, 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 procedure, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not sure when to do that. The bank is still doing their thing. Yeah, it's like a whole process. So basically at the end of 10 days since yesterday, 10 business days since yesterday, I will have an outcome, or I have an expected outcome, on my claim for my $9,000 to be returned. That's the longest I'll wait before going to the news, I think. I think that's reasonable, because by then I'll have a verdict one way or another. It is pretty unacceptable, ultimately, that Skinny has such low standards of verification for a person. They say it's high, it's not, when they're so easily accessible. My dad could impersonate me, for example. I'm sure at some point, because, he used to pay, a while ago, he used to pay for my mobile plan. I'm sure he had my information. I'm sure he could impersonate me, and take my SIM and transfer it. And it's, yeah. So, Skinny's neglect Skinny's neglect of app security procedure is quite bothersome. Many stores have implemented an in-person requirement where you have to be in person for a SIM card. You have to go into the store. Skinny has no physical stores, so that's their excuse. But at the very least, they could do it through Spark, their parent company, but they don't. This has been known for years. Many mobile companies have been doing this for years. Skinny hasn't. It is probably a degree of negligence from my part for allowing my details to be phished. I don't know how it happened. But public Wi-Fis are dangerous. And there are data leaks everywhere. That's how the world is these days. But never in my life would I imagine it possible for me to be impersonated so easily. And on top of this, it bothers me that ANZ, that no alarm bells were raised when $9,000 was lost from my account in less than 30 minutes. That's kind of annoying. I went to the new bank, ASB, and but basically the lady, the representative there, she was lovely, by the way. She told me that there was no way that would happen, or that should happen. She said that one would hope that wouldn't happen at their bank. And I agree. When I'm doing bank transfers of $9,000, all my savings have gone in a matter of minutes. I wonder what's going on, from their end. That's what I hope would have been the thought, but it wasn't there. I'm fine. My parents are being very supportive. I will be fine. My partner is a lifesaver. I cannot thank him enough. He's been not only my, emotional support, but you know, obviously there's some financial support happening, and he's been letting me use his phone for today. I've basically hijacked his device for today, and you know, that's a big deal. Yeah. So I'm fine. I'm fine, and I'm coping. It's just a really, really horrible situation that is partially my fault, but has huge neglect, in my opinion, from other parties. That I hope we can see some justice from. Because $9,000 is a lot of money by almost anyone's standards. So yeah, part 3 tomorrow, hopefully. Hopefully I'll have some more updates then. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate your support. Yeah, speak soon.